Testing, can you hear me?
Yes, that's good. Okay, I heard Councilmember Day sounds good. He's on mute right now. Councilmember Graham said the beach sounds clear. The mayor, I need the mayor. I'm gonna unmute you on my end, so don't do anything yet. There we go. You wanna test the mayor? I can't hear you. I don't know if anyone else can. You may have to turn, do you have a mute button on right now, or you need to turn the volume up on if you're using a laptop or if you're using like an iPad? And I still can't hear you. While he's figuring that out, Chief Richardson, do you want to test out your audio, please? I'll try to unmute you on my end.
Catherine, you're making me sick. You're clipping me around.
Okay.
Which one would, if I could get everybody to sit in the screen, but it wouldn't work, so.
Okay, let's try this again. How about Keith, you want to turn off your mute? I want to test out your audio, make sure you're working.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Perfect. Yeah, I'm trying to unmute Randy, and it's not.
Catherine, up in the right-hand corner, there's a button that puts it on
Gallery view?
gallery, and you can see everybody at the same time.
Let's see.
Upper right-hand corner, gallery.
So yes, so for the ones of you that have it on your laptop or your iPad, if you have it on gallery view, you get to see everybody, so it's not on speaker view. So what Michael and I discussed via email is that for purposes of the meeting, we're going to only leave the council members and staff video on. If there's members of the public, I'm going to turn those cameras off and mute them, and when the time comes for public comment, I will go in order based off of them raising their hands, and I'll provide that instruction to them, and then I'll turn their camera on if they want, and their audio. So then that way you're not seeing a million faces. I mean, there's 6 people waiting in the waiting room right now. So, and there's at least half of them are on the phone. So that's the protocol that we're gonna do tonight. I know it's our first official Zoom meeting, so we'll probably have to work out a few kinks. When it comes time for the Pledge of Allegiance, I'm going to have Mayor Martina do the pledge. I'm going to share my screen and show a picture of the flag, but everyone else should be on mute so that we don't have feedback and people talking over each other, but the mayor will lead. And then when it comes time for the invocation, I will unmute Councilmember Day's Zoom camera, and so that way he can do the invocation. So that's what we're thinking we're going to do. I will have to do some preliminary introductions for Zoom instructions, Mayor. I'll defer to you when do you want to do that, if you want to do that first things first before the call to order, or I can do it whenever you want. And I can't hear you, so we have a problem because we need the mayor to have some type of audio. He may have to call in if he's, Michael, do you want to see if you can call him?
I think. Okay.
And have him call in on the call-in information, which he can do, even though he's on some type of device. But we're going to need him. It'll be kind of awkward to have the mayor there and not.
Before we get started, can we recheck the audio again?
Yeah, no, you sound good. You sound good. And so I can mute you all. I can unmute you. If there's any feedback coming from any of you, I can see it on your little Richter on your microphone. I may mute you just to keep the background noise down. So don't be offended. I'm not trying to quiet you. I'm just trying to cut out some of the background noise.
Yeah, but so one thing you can do if you have your computer on, you can put the screen on and then call in and use your phone as the audio, and then you still have the screen. on the number, there's a bill, on the top, on the agenda there. Yeah, 253-215-8782, correct. Yeah, you need to put the ID in and password.
If they ask for a participant code, he can bypass that by pressing pound, because he doesn't have one.
Yeah, if they ask for a participant code, just push pound and you'll bypass that. If they ask for an ID number, pound, and that'll bypass that. You're going there. Okay? Okay, Ahmed? Okay.
So let's wait for him to get that squared away. Michael, I think we have Allie Mendoza in the waiting room. I should let her in, right?
Yeah, she's a staff member. So what if I can't see everyone?
You probably have it on speaker view. So in the top right-hand corner of your screen, there should be a little button that it looks like little boxes. If you click on that, you'll see everybody instead of just the person who's speaking.
Gotcha. See all the smiling faces.
So I'll assume that Chief Richardson is intentionally keeping his video camera off because he's the only one who doesn't have it on.
Okay.
And I still haven't been able to test his audio. Randy, can you unmute it on your end?
Media.
Yeah, I just realized, what number is he calling from so I can let him in?
The mayor would be calling from maybe a 986-7511 or 862-3930. And then also Nick Candia is trying to call in, but he can't hear anything.
He's calling the waiting room. What number is he calling from? Or what are I see the last four digits.
8566 for Nick.
Okay, okay, I got him. And then the mayor, the last four digits on the mayor.
Let me check that again, hang on. The mayor try 7511 or 3930.
I think, okay. Mayor. Mayor, you should be, let's see, I'm going to do one at a time. 8566. I'm going to unmute you.
That's Nick.
Hello, you want to test your audio? Hello? 8566, I think that's me. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
Nick Candia, yeah.
Perfect. Give me 1 second, I'm going to rename you. And then the mayor. Mayor, I've unmuted. Mayor.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I can hear you, but I can still hear feedback. So what I need you to do is to mute your laptop or your iPad.
I'll mute iPhone. What's the mute button?
Not on your phone, but are you calling from your iPad or your camera?
iPhone.
Right, no, but the screen. You have an iPad. Turn volume all the way down and let's see if that helps.
Okay, it's all the way down.
That sounds better.
Okay, let's try again. Do you want to test?
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can. There's a little bit of feedback, but I think we can live with that. So, we're just, that's unfortunately, until we can work out the kinks on your iPad, we're going to need you to use the phone for now.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any questions? Are we going today?
I had a question, Nubia.
Yes, ma'am.
In regards to starting the meeting, when I read the Newman City Council and the regular meeting, there's all that information below. Did you want me to read that?
The notice, yes, the notice about it being held in accordance with the executive order.
Okay.
If you want, I can do that for you, because I need to give some preliminary information to the participants on how they can participate in public comment. So if you want, I can do that.
Okay, so what I'll go ahead and I'll start the meeting, and then I'll give you that opportunity to complete that area. So, are we ready to start the meeting?
Do we have everybody on, Michael? I think we do, but.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, let's see. Randy, were you able to, you want to test out your audio? I saw your camera briefly, but do you want to turn on your audio really quickly? Well, let's proceed and let's see. Randy?
He popped up for a second.
He did, and he's not on mute, so he should be able to, I think he's calling in from his phone, but I just can't.
Yes.
Okay, well, we'll have to play by ear and see how it goes, so we can get started. Okay, so I have 6 people in the waiting room. I'm going to let them in, and as soon as I let them in, I'm going to hit record, because we will be recording this meeting, and it will be posted on the city's website. So, for anyone who's on a laptop or a computer, you can send me a message on the chat channel if you have any questions, technical issues, and I'll try to manage that at the same time as we're running the meeting, so that way we can maybe cut down on some of the interruptions. But it's going to be a trial and error, at least for this first time. So, Mayor, I'm going to let everyone in, and I'll let you know as soon as the meeting can begin.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Martina, it's 7:13, and we have all the participants in the Zoom call, and we're ready to begin the meeting.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone tonight to the Newman City Council regular meeting, April 14th, 2020. City Council Chambers, 7 o'clock p.m., 938 Fresno Street.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is a notice for members of the public. This meeting is being held in accordance with Executive Order N2920, which was issued by California Governor Gavin Newsom on March 17th, 2020. The Brown Act, the Federal Americans with Disability Act as well. This meeting will not be physically open to the public. All members of the public may participate in the meeting via video conferencing at the website that's been provided on the agenda. There is login information that's available on the city's agenda that's posted on the city's website, and via teleconference by calling area code 253-215-8782. There will be opportunity for public comment at the appropriate time. This is the first meeting that the City of Newman is conducting via Zoom, so it is a little bit of a trial and error, and I thank everyone for your patience leading up to the start of the meeting just a few minutes late. So for the members of the public that are on the Zoom meeting, I'm wanting to let you all know that for the meeting tonight, we will leave all the cameras off, and we'll be muting all phones and cameras until public comment time is to begin. So the only video cameras that you'll be seeing will be the council members and staff. At the appropriate time for public comment, and when we have an agenda item, there will be an opportunity for members of the public to participate. If you are using Zoom, so if you are dialing in from your laptop or computer, desktop, or an iPad or iPhone, there is a way for you to raise your hand electronically, and that you can do that by clicking on the participant tab. There's a participant tab in your toolbar, which could be there at the bottom of your screen. It might sometimes be on the top of your screen. But if you click on the participant tab, there is a button a blue button that says raise hand. If you press that, I, as a host, can actually see your hands going up. You will be added into a queue, basically a line, and we will go one by one in order to achieve public comment that way. We also have the ability, if you're calling in by phone, there were a few phone calls, I don't know if they're still here. You can do that by pressing *9. So pressing *9 will get you in queue for public comment via telephone. I will be periodically providing that information when it's time for public comment on any particular item. So I apologize for the repetitive nature of it, but I want to make sure that everyone can provide public comment if they so choose. So at this time, that's the preliminary instructions for now. Mayor Martina, I did mute you because there's a little bit of feedback. I'm going to unmute you now so that we can begin the rest of the meeting agenda. So I've unmuted your phone.
Thank you. Okay, I would like to have everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, Mary Day, could we have the invocation?
Our thought for today, let not your heart be troubled. This too shall pass. Let's pray. Most gracious Father, we thank you tonight for the opportunity to serve our community. We pray your blessings on our community and their health. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mary. Could we have roll call, please?
Councilmember McDonald?
I've unmuted the council chamber audio.
Councilmember McDonald?
Councilman McDonald's here.
Graham?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Candia?
Here.
Day?
Here,
And Mayor Martina?
Here. I'm sorry. Okay, tonight, a declaration of conflict of interest. None. 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 And I have none. None. There is no ceremonial matters tonight, so we'll move on to item 7. Item 7 is items from the public. These are non-agenda items. Anyone would like to speak to the council? This will be your opportunity.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm gonna mute you just for a second. Same instructions to members of the public because we do have a few. If you wish to participate during public comment, you can do it a couple of ways. You can raise your hand digitally by clicking on the participant tab on your toolbar, on your Zoom toolbar, and pressing the raise hand function. You can also, if you're dialing in by phone, press *9 on your phone now, and that will put you in the queue automatically. Alternatively, there is another way. You can send me a message as host on the chat channel, and that will give me a heads up that you may want to participate that way. So there's a few different ways that we can accomplish public comment. We do have a few members of the public. I don't know if you're wanting to participate in public comment. I will give you another opportunity at this time to raise your hand digitally. You press the participant tab and then press the raise hand function. Actually, you know what? Since this is the first time that we're doing it, I'd like to see if we can test that out. If I can have, let's see. Councilmember Graham, do you want to try to press the raise hand function? I want to make sure that you're able to do it on your device.
absolutely. There we go.
Perfect. Exactly. So it's relatively easy. It's under your participant tab. Once that happens, I can lower your hand and unmute your audio. So again, at this time, I'll provide another opportunity to members of the public. If you wish to speak during the public comment portion for non-agenda items, this is the time. If not, then I will go back to Mayor Martina. I will unmute you, and there are no public comments at this time.
Okay, thank you very much, Olivia. We're moving on to item 8, consent calendar. A, waive all readings of ordinance and resolution except by title. B, approval of warrants. C, approval of minutes of the March 10th, 2020 and March 19th, 2020 meetings. D, adopt resolution number 2020 next number, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Newman approving the calculation of the maximum garbage collection rate per period contractual agreement.
I move that we approve the consent calendar as read. I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you.
A quick interruption, Mayor. I hate to apologize. Councilmember Day, were you wanting to speak on the item? I saw your hand.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry.
Not a problem.
Okay. We're moving on to item 9, which is a public hearing. A, adopt resolution number 2020 next number, a resolution declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 281 mistletoe abatement.
Thank you, Mayor. The item before you is our annual mistletoe abatement for residents and properties in the city of Newman that have not removed mistletoe based on a survey that we completed. We had 13 properties at the time of the agenda that had not abated their mistletoe. We are down to 10. For the record, we want to remove from the abatement list 2224 Spring Court, 1013 Q Street, and 1231 Q Street from the abatement list. Mistletoe, as you know, is a fungus that attacks trees and can kill them. So we do an annual survey every year, and then we notice everyone to remove it. We remove it all from the city trees. When that's all done, we give them a certain amount of time. When that's all done, we go out and survey again. Whoever has it, removed it, we get a price on removing it from a couple different local landscaper and tree people, and then we send out a public hearing notice with the cost to each property. They receive those on March 6th, on April 3rd, and they were all given certified letters. And the remaining 10 are the ones that have not removed it. We find that the remaining property owners find that it's easier for us to abate it, and they pay the bill. We had no one contact us on this in the last couple of weeks since the 10-day notice went out. And so, in conclusion, we'd like to declare an existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 281 and abate these properties for mistletoe.
Thank you, Catherine.
Agenda. You're welcome. Thank you.
Is any questions from Catherine at this time?
Yes. My question, Catherine, is that the charges that were put on the ones who basically came into compliance, are they still charged those amounts that set on paper?
No. Anybody that has removed the mistletoe up until tonight, they were not charged anything. Tonight we'll set the abatement, which will trigger the charge that's been identified in the agenda.
Great. That's all I have. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Being no other questions, this is a public hearing, so I'm going to open up the public for any comment.
Thank you, Mayor. So at this time, again, for members of the public that wish to participate on this item, you can raise your hand electronically by clicking on the participant tab and the raise hand function under the participant tab. If you're calling in, you can also do that by pressing *9. Alternatively, you can send me a message on the chat channel and I can read your comment into the record, or I can call your name and unmute your line and turn on your camera if you so wish. So all different ways to participate. Are there any members of the public wishing to make comment at this time? Mayor, there are no hands raised electronically, so there's no members of the public wishing to make public comment.
Okay, thank you, Nubia. At this time, I'm going to bring it back to the council for direction.
I move that we adopt resolution 2020, next number, a resolution declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 281, nuisance and abatement. I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion. I'm sorry, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. 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 Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Next is 10, regular business. A, adopt resolution number 2020, next number, a resolution adopting a list of projects to be funded by SB1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act for fiscal year 2020 to 2021.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is to identify which projects that we would like to use the SB1 money for, and then also a report of what we have completed so far. In 2017, the governor signed into law a transportation funding Senate bill, and this gives us annual funding that we can use to accomplish projects. This year, we are carrying our list from last year, which includes T Street from Yolo to Inyo, Kern Street, Fresno, Tulare, and Mariposa, in addition to some crack fill various local roads. We have started on Kern Street, and we are about 50% completed on the design, and we found that we need to save and use multiple years funding to complete these roads because it requires more maintenance. And so we want to carry this list over, and then we expect to complete Kern in fiscal year 2021, and then we will move on to the next one of the other streets in our list, and the city manager and I will review the list and come up with the best project. In your staff report, we included the projected revenues. Those are projected. Things could change, and Lou stays on top of that, and so things could be adjusted. And in conclusion, I would just ask that you approve our list and acknowledge our project that we're working on at 50%, what we got done. And some questions.
This is a multi-year project, list.
We have to update our list every year, and so this is a requirement annually. And so it is a multi-year list, though we have to adopt it and submit it to the state annually.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So this year we're planning on getting Kern Street done, and then the other year, depending on how much the final cost is, the other streets will follow based on worse the better, correct? Am I understand that correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions regarding this matter with Catherine? If not, I'll bring it back to the council for direction. I move that we adopt Resolution 2020, next number, a resolution adopting a list of projects to be funded by SB1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act for fiscal year 2020 and 2021.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Next item is B, adopt resolution number 2020, next number, a resolution of Newman City Council to direct the filing of written argument and to instruct the city clerk as election official for the special mail ballot election on August 25th, 2020, to confirm annexation of approximately 121 acres for Phase 1 of the Northwest Newman Master Plan.
Thank you, Mayor. I will be presenting on this item. Before you tonight, council members, we have a resolution that is a follow-up to an item that you took action on February 25th. At that time, you approved a resolution calling for a special election as it relates to the reorganization project, the Northwest Newman reorganization. As you recall, and unfortunately, there were sufficient protest votes enough to trigger the special election requirement for the annexation. And so what you have before you tonight is a resolution that's a follow-up that really just memorializes the deadlines associated with the special election, directions to the city clerk to prepare the notices that need to be published in the newspaper and that need to be sent out to the voters. It establishes the priority of written arguments and rebuttal arguments, and the deadlines that are contained in the resolution are ones that we obtained from the county registrar's office. So we've been working very closely with the registrar to ensure that everything is teed up for the special election that will be conducted a little bit later on this year. So that's really the purpose of the resolution. It also allows for the selection of a subcommittee of the council members to draft arguments in support of the measure. And I'm hoping that we can get some direction on that as well. But that really is the purpose of the resolution. It's pretty straightforward. So I can answer any questions that the council may have on this item.
I don't have any questions specific to this, but is it something we want to open up to the public just in case anybody has any questions about it?
We can, yes, and we should do that. We can do that after. If there's some initial questions from the council, let's take those and then we can open it up for public comment.
I currently have no initial questions.
No question.
I'm seeing, Mayor, no questions?
We'll open it up to the public.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Okay, so again, I'll repeat myself. If you're a member of the public wishing to make public comment on this item, you can participate by clicking the raise hand function under the participant tab on your Zoom toolbar. If you're calling by phone, you can press *9 and it will get you into the queue. You can also send me a message on the chat channel, and as moderator, I could see that and either read your comment into the record or unmute your camera and microphone. So at this time, are there any members of the public wishing to make a public comment on this agenda item? Keep going. I'll give a few more seconds. Any public comment on this item? There being none, Mayor, there's no public comment.
Okay, then we'll move back to the council direction.
I move that we adopt, let me get to the right page. Adopt resolution number 2020, next in number, a resolution of the city, Newman City, let me start over. I adopt resolution number 2020, next in number, a resolution of the Newman City Council to direct the filing of written arguments and to instruct the city clerk as the elections official for the special mailed ballot election on August 25th, 2020 to confirm annexation of approximately 121 acres for Phase 1 of the Northwest Newman Master Plan.
I'll second that, Sport.
Okay, we have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So as part of that item, the resolution does allow for the creation the creation of a subcommittee of 2 members of the council to take the heavy lifting on drafting arguments in support of the item that will be the subject of the election. So if we can get direction on that, that would be good. I think now is probably a good time to do that. So the way that it works, since we can't have a quorum of you meet offline or outside the scope of a public meeting, we need 2 of you as selected by the council to work together to draft an argument in support of. We can work on that with you as well to provide you any feedback on that, with the idea that this is what's going to be published as part of the voter information guide and will be the city's official stamp on this ballot measure for the special election. And we will be bringing it back for an informational item to the council at a future date before the election, just as a follow-up, so that everyone can see it.
I would like to recommend Councilmember Graham and Mayor Martina for that commission.
I can do that.
Now, moving on to item 2.
Right. Sure.
So, Mayor, before we move on, so there's been a recommendation. Let's take a formal motion and vote on this item.
Isn't that been included in that resolution?
The resolution includes the authorization to create the subcommittee, but so this is just the extra step of actually selecting the subcommittee members.
I make that a motion.
Okay, so we need
Make it a motion.
make a motion to correction.
I made it a motion.
Okay, and second?
Mayor, did you hear he nominated myself and you to head that up?
Okay.
I just want to make sure you heard that.
Okay.
Councilmember McDonald seconded it.
All in favor? I'm sorry, Zach.
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye, there we go.
Okay, 5-0. Okay. Next item is adopt resolution, ordinance number 2020, emergency ordinance of the city council of the city of Newman, one adopting Stanislaus County health officers March 31st, 2020, order directing all individuals living in the county to shelter at their place of residence. 2, adopting the governor's executive order number N-33-20, directing all individuals living in the state to shelter at their place of residence. 3, adopting any subsequent orders that the Stanislaus County health officer or any official of the state of California that issued to limit the spread of COVID-19 during the duration of COVID-19 state of emergency. And 0, ordering all individuals in the city of Newman to shelter at the place of residence and setting forth enforcement rules.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be taking this item as well. Thank you again, Mayor and council members. As you know, this being our first Zoom meeting and our second council meeting via alternative means, we're all very familiar with the unprecedented circumstances that we're all living in. Pretty much at every level, at the local level, county, state, and nation, there's been a declaration of an emergency because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And following several executive orders from Governor Newsom, County of Santa Claus has also issued a declaration of emergency. The public health officer has issued a stay-at-home order that mirrors the governor's as well, which is really to help encourage people to social distance from one another. It's not intended to scare people or have them, be out unnecessarily, but it really is a way to help encourage compliance with that directive. The governor and the county's orders make it clear that only essential businesses are to be operational at this time. There's a very long list of what an essential business is. The idea is, again, if you're providing an essential service, so you're talking about food, restaurants that provide takeout, there's a long list of businesses that are deemed essential under the orders. But these orders now have come down from the state, they've come down from the county level, and what this urgency ordinance does, the one that's presented to you tonight, is really intended to mirror and to help also support those state and county orders through local enforcement mechanisms. So under California law enforcement is authorized to carry out the orders by way of any type of law enforcement action, but in looking at the circumstances, staff is looking at ways to provide your local law enforcement and code enforcement officers another mechanism to help encourage compliance. And that's really through the institution and creation of an administrative citation and fine schedule. So what that does, and what the urgency ordinance really does, is set out a fine schedule for non-compliant businesses and individuals who are not complying with the stay-at-home orders. They can be issued citations in the amount of $250, $500, and $1,000, depending on the level of the number of violations that they have committed. Again, this is not a mandatory action that law enforcement or code enforcement is going to automatically go and cite people. It's really a tool. It's really an option of last resort. The city has been working very closely with law enforcement, code enforcement, and the county to help educate. The idea is to start by educating members of the public and business owners and operators of what their obligations are under these shelter-in-place rules and orders before going down the road of taking kind of other action. And the ordinance does provide that there's an opportunity for warning before any citations are actually issued. Again, the idea is education. It's not necessarily to go out and start finding people left and right. So that's really the purpose of this urgency ordinance. Because urgency ordinances go into effect immediately, so it's not a normal procedure where we have first reading, second reading, and adoption. There will be a necessary of a 4/5 vote for the urgency ordinance to pass, and it would become effective immediately. So that's really the urgency ordinance in a nutshell. I can answer any questions regarding the urgency ordinance that is before you tonight, or the county's orders, or the executive orders issued by the governor.
I would like to hear from Chief Richardson, Chief Bowen, or Michael Holland to see if we've had any issues up to this point with businesses in
So, Councilmember Graham, this is Michael. We did have an issue with the gym, but we work with them and continue to kind of press on the education front of it. We also got Sheriff Turksey involved because he had multiple locations at the county, and we were able to get him to close effective April 1st. As you know, I shared with you earlier, at the very beginning of this process, we had a bar open. And we were able to contact that owner directly and got him to shut down. So there's been a few businesses in town that we've had to make the phone calls with, but it hasn't gotten to the point of enforcement. But having this tool in our tool belt would be very helpful in case somebody does decide to open up early.
I'm just very wary of doing this, I understand it's a good tool in that, and I think this needs every attempt to give them warnings, because I think this is kind of pushing, in my personal opinion, that we're pushing across the country, we're pushing a lot of freedoms and things by forcing businesses and places to close.
No, we agree completely. We would only first, again, stress public education and why it's important for them. This would be an absolutely last resort, and the goal is not to be punitive in any manner. It's just to try to get compliance. And really, this would be focused on businesses that probably would put the public health and safety at risk. That gym and Newman, if that was allowed to continue to be open, a lot of sweating, a lot of heavy breathing going on there, and there were a lot of people going on, and it really could have been a cluster place where a cluster could have started, and COVID-19 could have really spread in that environment. So we're very fortunate we did get him to close up voluntarily, but if we didn't, we would have had to use this tool.
Right. And I agree with that. I just deciding what things are essential and non-essential is kind of a fine line. And you're right on the gym. That's a definite one that's non-essential, or bar is very non-essential. But making those choices seems kind of, to me it's a fine line that we have to walk. So,
and we can appreciate your comments, and we will do everything possible to go down the education route first, and only use this as an absolutely last resort.
when would this
So I can answer that question. So the way that the ordinance is drafted, it has an automatic sunset date at the time that the governor lifts the state of emergency because of COVID-19. Alternatively, it can lift when the council decides to repeal it by the same vote, a 4/5 vote. So the intent of this is not to be a continuous ordinance. It's really just meant to address this particular issue at this time.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
I think, too, that we've seen a tremendous amount of cooperation by the businesses in our community. It's not something that we want to use, but it's something there, for instance, like the gym, where it's sometimes necessary to put a little pressure on, because our people have suffered. I understand now we're up to, 4 cases in Newman now, and so we've got to be conscious of our social distancing. We've got to be conscious of the stay-at-home recommendations, the masks, and all of those other things. So I think that this is not intended as a way to put our thumb down, if you will, on businesses, but rather to help bring this COVID-19 virus thing to an end.
Thank you, Greg. Is there any other questions that council might have on this ordinance? If not, then I bring it back for direction.
Mayor, I would recommend, since it's an urgency ordinance and technically is part of a public hearing process, let's open it up for public comment.
Okay. Okay, at this time I'm opening up for any public comment.
Thank you, Mayor. And so again, instructions to members of the public. If you wish to comment on this item, you can participate by raising your hand. Under the Participants tab, you can press Raise Hand, and it will move you into the queue. If you're dialing in by phone, you can do that on your phone by pressing *9, and that will put you in the queue. Alternatively, you can send me a message as host on the chat channel, and I can read your comment into the record, or I can unmute your microphone and camera if you wish to make public comment. So I'm going to give an opportunity for members of the public to make public comment on this item if you want. Again, please press the raise hand function on your participant tab. You can press *9 on your phone, or you can send me a message on the chat channel as well. Are there any members of the public wishing to make public comment at this time? I don't see any, Mayor, not at this time.
Okay, we'll bring it back to the council for correction.
I move that we adopt, ordinance 2020, next number, an urgency ordinance of the City Council of the City of Newman, adopting the Stanislaus County Health Officer's March 31st, 2020 order, directing all individuals living in the county to shelter at their place of residence, adopting the Governor's Executive Order N-33-20, directing all individuals living in the state to shelter at their place of residence. Number 3, adopting a subsequent orders that the Stanislaus County Health Office or any official of the state of California issue to limit the spread of COVID-19 during the duration of the COVID-19 state emergency. And 4, ordering all individuals in the city of Newman to shelter in place of residence and setting forth enforcement rules.
I'll second the motion.
Again, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And again, I think it's an important tool that we,
I'm sorry, was there a comment there?
I kind of jumped on you there again, Mayor. Again, just really speaking on it, I think it's a very important tool that we need. I agree with you, Councilman Murray. I think we just have to use it sparingly and be very smart with it.
I agree. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. 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 Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. 10D, consider funding request from Opportunity Stanislaus.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll take this one. So, Opportunity Stanislaus, which is, our work and economic development program, it's made up of the county, all the cities, as well as the private partnerships as well. They're trying to fund a program that's going to be called Stand By Me, Stand By B-Y and then Me. The idea is to help our small businesses and the essential businesses that are open right now and trying to get the public to know who is open. So they're going to try to run a multi-pronged digital campaign that includes some video messaging, some social media messaging, create a landing page at their calbizrelief.org website. And again, is trying to get the public to help these businesses that are struggling to stay open, to get people to understand that they are open. One of the other pieces of that is when through this campaign, they're running a balloon campaign for businesses that are open and that are, again, providing essential services. And we'll put balloons out there to help the public see who is open, because sometimes it's difficult to see which businesses are open and which ones are not. They have promised that they're going to, make sure that they include all the Newman businesses that are open. They already received a list of our businesses that we believe are open and our essential services on there as well. The funding request is a one-time funding request of $2,500. And that could be funded through the community promotions account. The council has around $3,200 remaining in that account. This project is also supported by Stanislaus County and cities of Houston, Oakdale, and Patterson as well at this time. So, with that, I can take any questions that you may have.
Is the intent to run this campaign? Is the intent to run this campaign only during the COVID-19?
Yeah, they're trying to get it to correspond with the release of these stimulus checks, and trying to get that money circulating within Stanislaus County to help these businesses and these employees of these businesses to stay afloat, and to get our economy trying to keep it moving along.
Okay, any other questions, Mr. Paul? If we none, I'll bring it back to council for direction.
I would recommend that we adopt the funding request for Opportunity Stanislaus in the amount of $2,500.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
second, all in favor?
Yes, I'll second that. Aye.
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 Okay.
Aye.
That's 5 ayes, anyway. Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Moving on to item 11. Items from District 5, Stanislaus County Supervisor. Is just Mr. Tim DiMartino on the line. Good evening, Mayor Martina, members of the council. That's really high tech here. I can't believe Okay, let me give you the latest update on the numbers for the coronavirus. As of 6:20 this evening, Stanislaus County had 163 cases since it started. That is up 17 today, which is the most increase we've had so far. 4 have died, and 2 of those 4 died today. And of the 163 cases, we have 77 have recovered. The hospitals have roughly about a 60% capacity right now, with at least some 40% available. That varies a little bit from hospital to hospital from day to day, but we have a very sufficient capacity within the hospitals to handle just about anything. If we have a spike that is unexpected, we are going to reopen the Scenic General Hospital, and we have about 100 beds or 110 or so that we can handle cases there too if the hospitals ever become full. I really doubt that will be the case, but we are pretty much ready for everything. We hope this is over soon, and so everyone can get back to work again. This is going to have a real severe impact on the economy of the county, and we expect a substantial sales tax drop because of the businesses that are closed, the malls are locked up, restaurants aren't open, and so it's going to affect us for a while to come. But if we do have a surge in the amount of people with the virus, we are ready for it. Also in the news, the county has small business grants that will be available. We have to apply for it. You can look on the county website or just call my office. I don't have the address with me, but we are targeting businesses of under 50 employees for $10,000 grants. And these aren't loans, they're just grants. We don't have to pay it back. We have enough to fund 100 businesses for $10,000 each. And there's some questions to ask. We're going to have the concentration on businesses that are under 25 people, and we will give out about a quarter of the grants to businesses up to 50 people. So if any business is interested in that and applying, you can do it online. In other news, the Hill-Surrey Bridge project has begun to move forward. We do have an agreement with Caltrans now for the design of the project. Because of some federal funding limitations on time, we have to get this project really going and get it looking for construction. The construction to get the federal funding has to begin by 2022. We're not really quite done everything with Caltrans yet, as the access road has to be changed a little bit, and we need additional funding for that Caltrans is not doing us. We have plenty of time to work that out. As the bridge, it has to be completely demolished, but about half of the time. But mostly we have the funding for it, and that project will be going for 2 years. As far as the Rose Landing Air Base, the engineering is still going on there, storm drainage, roads, utilities. That contractor should be done sometime this summer. Or maybe fall for sure. It was a pretty good sized contract. And so this will be for roads, utilities, water system, and the beginning of the sewer system. So that's coming along as we expected. We still expect construction actually to start sometime next spring.
task force meeting, and we've not been able to have a meeting. In fact, our meeting was scheduled for the 16th in 2 days in Patterson at the Hammond Senior Center, which is closed. So we don't know when the next meeting is going to be. I have sent out a letter today to the task force members giving them a possible tentative date for a meeting in May. I'm sure we're going to have to postpone our health summit there at the Westside Theater. We have lots up in the air. We're really ready to go, but we haven't been able to meet and have something like a health summit until these restrictions from the state are lifted. The only thing I can tell you is we still plan on doing it, but we're just not sure of the date. And then we have to look at that review of the city of Newman. So, the Westside walks, we're still planning on going with that, and they will be on Saturday mornings this year rather than Tuesday evenings. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you very much, Jim. Any questions for Jim tonight?
Yes, I have one question. Supervisor DeMartini, since everything is being delayed, is that going to delay your retirement?
No, that's just kind of goes on. It's,
Good try, Leroy.
I don't think Aaron would like that. Anyway, okay, thank you so much, Jim. Thank you for, at least you don't have to drive home tonight.
yeah, well, I don't mind coming at all. I seem to enjoy the Newman. You notice the tab below my name says Andy Martinez because I'm using her computer.
Okay, thank you so much, Jim. Okay, moving on to item 12, items from the city manager and staff.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things tonight. As Jim talked about, the COVID-19, Newman just a week ago last Friday, so it's about 10, 11 days ago, we had our first case, but unfortunately this thing is very contagious, and we're up to 7 cases in Newman now. So we're going to go ahead and we'll do a press release tomorrow, and hopefully we're going to be rolling out the yard sale campaign, asking people to stay home, stay safe, and stay positive, and together we can beat this. It's very important that we as a community really take this thing seriously and not let it get control of us, because if we don't start talking to our neighbors and our friends and our family right now about social distancing and covering your face, your mouth, and your nose when you can, and going out in public, this thing could really get out of control in Newman. So we really, really need to talk to our neighbors and friends about that. So hopefully with this yard sign campaign, that'll help start some conversation about that. And that was the goal. So we expect that those are probably going to come in the next day or two, and we'll make sure that we deliver some to each of your houses, and then we'll go from there. So we're also working inside City Hall here. We're working on an infectious disease response plan. Got that through our Risk Management Association, so finalizing that. I'm working with Chief Bowen on that. We're hoping to have that done by middle of next week, and we'll have that out to all of our employees. Budget-wise, we are not, sales tax is our third biggest revenue, so we're not heavily dependent on sales tax. So we will be bringing you a budget next year that you'll see is pretty much a status quo, just trying to hold the line on our level of service, but kind of putting off purchases until we can figure out where we're at with sales tax lines. So, and then all at this time, because we cannot do in-person interviews, all of our recruitments are on hold. So we have one police officer position open, and we have one public works position open at this time. So with that, I can answer any questions you may have.
Is it possible for us to put Supervisor DeMartini was talking about the small business grant? Is it possible to put that up on our website so they have a quick access to that link?
Yeah, I have those, and those will be going up on social media tomorrow, and we'll also be doing that'll be part of the press release as well. So yeah, those will all be going up tomorrow morning on social media. I just have to get together with Allie and get that coordinated.
Perfect. Thank you.
I have a question real quick for you, Mike, is that, is there anything set up in reference for a program yeah, not on a local level.
I guess what I was mostly thinking about is utilities and anything that I guess they would pay into while being a resident of the city.
We are not shutting people off at this time. If you're delinquent on your utilities, you will not be shut off. But that bill will carry forward. You'll have to pay it at some time. You're just not going to be shut off during this pandemic period.
Oh, great, thank you.
PG&E has also put out a notice that they will be offering rebates to users because of lower utility bills, and so there will be residents should be seeing lower utility bills for the month of May.
Oh, that's great. Okay,
That's all for me, Mayor.
Then, okay, thank you, Michael. And let's see, is Chief Hutchinson here tonight?
I believe his mic was not on.
He's connecting right now.
Oh, well, maybe you've got something exciting to tell us.
Chief, are you on?
Chief, I need your help.
Chief?
I think he's trying.
I think so too. We can,
Tell him to call him.
maybe we'll circle back to him. Mayor?
Okay. Let's do that. Then, let's see, Lou, are you there tonight? Financial director? Okay, tell us all the good things.
Well, first I want to say you guys are fantastic for stuck in the house for a while. City staff, we've been working on budget gathering from all different departments. We're on schedule to get that prepared and presented to you. We're looking at the first meeting in June. And if you think my workshop in person is pretty good, you ought to see it on Zoom. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that one. But other than that, the city's doing good. Michael and I have been looking at our budget, looking at our current revenues, and we're okay. We're doing all right. Yeah, good. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
So do you stay at the office, Lou?
Yeah, I go into the office every day.
Oh, great.
We keep our desks in the office. We've got our staff spread out. Normally the 4 girls that are in my department. I've got one moved out to over towards public works area where we got some empty desks. And then we've got some dividers up in between the rest of the staff to kind of keep us all safe. And we've got tons of hand sanitizer and soap, and we're good.
Great.
Is that your office at home, Lou? Where you're at now? Yeah, this is actually my daughter's artwork over here, and from before, and cool background, but I didn't think anybody would buy it. That's great.
Oh, great, Lou. Okay, Kathleen, are you here tonight? Yes, you are, Public Works Director.
Hi, Mayor. Thank you. I just have one exciting item to report. We did have a virtual bid opening for our water well project, and we got 8 bids.
Wow.
And that was just yesterday, so the engineers are going through them, and then we will bring a notice to award with an engineer's recommendation, I believe at the next meeting.
Fantastic.
Yes, so that,
Very good.
yeah, and they were not, it was a little over the engineer's estimate, but in this environment, it's just really unsure. We weren't sure if we were even going to get bids or if they were going to be crazy out there, but we think we got reasonable bids, and it looks like the project will proceed. We're okey-dokey with the numbers so far.
Good. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Kathleen.
You're welcome.
Okay, Chief Bowen, is he there, or do we go back to our Chief of Police, Chief Hutchinson?
Your choice. I think we have Chief Richardson on the phone, I think.
Okay, listen.
Chief, is that you?
It is, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Sorry for my technical difficulties. Good evening, Mayor, Council members. Don't have much tonight. You know, our business office is closed. We do have phone numbers up if you need to do business with the police department. We are also taking appointments if something that you need to have done. We're doing that on a case-by-case basis, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Well, your video up on the screen here looks like you haven't moved 1 inch since your face mask.
I'm really good at staring, council member.
God bless you, Chief, yeah. So, is Chief Bowen on the line? Okay.
He should be on.
He is. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor. I'll give you some updates on our response procedures with the COVID going on. So we are wearing masks and PPE on most of our EMS calls. We are limiting responders, so if ambulance beats us on scene, we'll wait and use the canaries and let them know if we need to go in. And then if we do have to go in, we're limiting it to 2 responders. We are using disinfecting procedures on all our apparatus and equipment as we come back, including special donning and doffing procedures for our equipment. We are also using self-reporting procedures, so each member, when they come into our station, they are self-reporting temperatures and symptoms of the pandemic. We are also taking regular conference calls with the EOC and the county, including the Hop area. Those are happening out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All public meetings, including blood drives, our classes, and meetings have been canceled at the fire station until further notice. We are still doing some company-level training as required. This just to meet whatever essential trainings we need. We have been given some exemptions and some certifications, so that's to our advantage. Another key part is we noticed we are having a reduction in EMS calls, and we're attributing this to the social distancing. Other than that, I can answer any questions you guys might have.
Any questions for the Chief? I guess not tonight, Chief. Well, thank you for all you're doing. We appreciate it. Yeah. And let's move on to the council members now. Casey, do you have anything tonight, please?
No, it's good seeing all you guys. Oh wait, did we get Ally in? Does she have anything?
Allie, I'm gonna,
That's all.
yeah, I'll unmute her. There you go. Allie, you're on.
Hi guys, good evening council members, Mayor. To report, just basically wasn't able to do the 5-foot volley that we were all anticipating for. With that, also our farmers market here in May will be discontinued, but we are looking forward to having our next farmers market in September. We're still looking forward to doing fit kids here in July, depending on where we're at in this COVID situation. But still planning for it, still going forward with that. Working with other departments as well currently right now to see how we can get more community involved, yet being safe and staying positive. Definitely getting community outreach and social media is our goal right now, and making sure people are at home staying safe. Apart from that, also looking forward to our soccer season coming up here in the near future, hoping that things clear out and we're able to move forward with that. Currently, the Fit Kids, the teen center is closed, but we are currently, I've been in there today, cleaning it up and renovating it a little bit more, so we can open it up here in the near future. With that, if you have any questions, I can answer them for you guys.
I just want to say, just stay safe out there. You know, you seem to be the ones doing all the work and out there, but you're more exposed than we are. So be just very careful and take care of yourself.
I definitely And I think it's more or less our CSOs and our officers and our emergency responders and our firefighters that are out there. Luckily we've had the luxury to fill in a little bit more, but they definitely have had a chance to do it. Now we are working behind the scenes a little bit with the yard program, and basically getting that posted and onto social media as well. And we are using the hashtag, and we're encouraging, here in the near future, we'll be encouraging all of our community members and citizens to use the hashtag Newman Together. And that'll link us all to our community and using that, the yard program, the stay safe, stay cooperative, stay at home initiative that we're all campaigning for.
Okay, thank you, Ally.
You're welcome.
Okay, Murray, did you have anything? I'm sorry, Casey, let's do Casey first. Sorry.
I don't have a whole lot. Like I said, it's good seeing all you guys. We'll be back to our regular meeting soon, and this is all overdone. Praying for all our first responders and everybody out there, and that this doesn't grow much bigger here in Newman. Hopefully it stays small. That's all I have.
Thank you, Casey. Laura, do you have anything tonight?
Yeah, not a whole lot, but I just wanted to see if Casey would get up and go jump in that water I've been looking at all. And it's not getting dark over there. That's all I have, Mayor. God bless you guys, and please stay safe.
Okay, thank you. Nick, do you have anything for us tonight?
No, just, God bless all the first responders, and don't forget to give your local truck driver a hug. We're bringing the goods to the market.
Amen. There you go. Air hug, got C-16.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Nick. Murray, do you have anything for us?
Catherine, thanks to your public works people for keeping the city clean and keep things going. Appreciate that. And everybody,
Thank you.
everybody be safe. This has been an experience tonight. I've done a couple of Zoom meetings before, but this has been a real challenge, and everybody's been patient, and it's really gone off well, I think. So thanks a lot, guys.
Well, thank you. And, I'd just like to thank Nubia. I know that you helped put this all together, and we really appreciate it, and we thank you for what you've done tonight. Michael, I'd like to especially thank you for all the good information that you're providing to the public. And if everyone listens to that information and shelters in place and watches social distancing so they make sure they don't, and wears something over their mouth and their nose when they go shopping, it will really make a difference. But anyway, thanks everyone, and God bless you. And now I'd like to ask for adjournment.
So move.
Second. Okay, I have to have a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.
Are we closing up?
Yep.